Hi, Joseph, this is Michelle, and I thought I would just read for you some of my second book called MARILYN, Thereafter the Fall, My Consequential Reincarnation. But I'm specifically going to read the parts of the book where I mention you. Now, I know you and I have been friends for, I don't know how long, year and a half, 2 years. I have no idea how long. I just know that there were times that we would IM each other pretty much every day, sometimes in the middle of the night because you would have insomnia and I would just be up, I don't know, playing with the cats or had to pee or something. Um, but I'm kind of having a a coughing fit. So I'm going to try to get through this. I'm going to try to read this, but I want to read for you the parts of this book where I mention you. I also mention you here and there in my third book, which I'm working on, and hopefully will have published by the end of the summer 2021. And I want to real quick read for you the foreword that I have on my book. I wrote my own foreword when I was doing my first book. And then I read, after I had it written, that you're supposed to get someone who's an expert in the field, which your book is about, to write the foreword for you. Well, I had already written the foreword for my first book, so I just put another pen name on it. And, if anyone asks, I'll be honest, but I write my own forewords. So it seemed to work out well for the first book. So that's what I did for my second book as well. And I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know if I'm allergic to something or what, but I keep having to cough and sneeze and stuff. So chai tea. I'm going to try to get through this and hopefully it won't be too painful. You can fast forward through this if you don't care to hear what I say in the foreword. But I'm going to read the foreword. I think I'll read the Dear Reader to you too. And then I'll read the parts that I wrote in the book about you. So I'm going to get this out because I can't see. I'm going to probably stumble through this, but bear with me. I just want you to know what I've been saying about you in my books. Or in this book anyway. Okay, so the foreword. In her early 50s, Michele Saumberfield indulged herself in casual hobbies, had a demanding job, and was living with the man she loves. However, it seemed something was inexplicably missing in her life. January 23rd, 2018, Michele went through an unexpected trauma which turned her life upside down and drove her to reevaluate her existence. From there on in, Michele felt caught between two worlds, her own and the past, and she had something to say. In 2019, Michele published MARILYN, Not Just Another Girl, which is an author's memoir with reincarnation stories from multiple lifetimes mixed in. MARILYN, Thereafter the Fall, this book, is the follow-up book. The first book lays the foundation for the second one. But was the world ready to hear from yet another woman claiming she had lived as the sexy blonde actress caught in the middle of three famous political brothers? Was the world ready to give up all of its conspiracy theories and finally know the truth? Marilyn Monroe was murdered, and powerful older brother, sensitive middle brother, and jealous little brother were all very real in her life. It is not a magic trick when evidence evaporates as someone's last moments appear to be suspicious. It was planned and it was executed. Marilyn's murder was designed to hide the truth until the very end of time. And in her first book, Michele explains what happened. This book chronicles Michele coming out as Marilyn, reincarnated. The upside, the downside, and the absolutely absurd. You decide for yourself what you think. And I signed it Shelly Teresa Brooks, which is a name I came up with actually when I was a teenager. I thought, well, that'd be a great name for a famous actress, which I never became. Okay, I think our little cat wants in the room, but we'll just let her outside for now. So I always do this Dear Reader thing to my readers. I just want to kind of make things personal and touch base with them. And even though there's a foreword, I want to say something directly to them as me. So my dear reader at the front of the book says, one cannot help but notice that many, many books have been written and documentaries made about Marilyn over the last 58 years. Sometimes I want to say, thank you for not forgetting her. Other times I want to say, privacy, please. And often I want to scream, you've got it all wrong. But I write my books in the spirit that I have observed. People seem to want to leave no stone unturned chronicling Marilyn's lifetime. I believe what I say 100%, but for the sake of general legal caution, I will tell you that you are free to consider whatever is in this book to be fiction offered up purely for entertainment. You don't have to believe any of the contents and may dismiss it all as an array of amusing short stories. It's your choice. I cannot prove anything. I especially have no evidence to support my allegations of murder, just memories. What's important to me is that I'm speaking up. I write my books for Marilyn, who now must speak through me to tell her tale. And I also understand the gravity of Marilyn's intense, continuing popularity. So if I have any influence at all on the world, I hope it is to say that it is best to walk the journey of your life in the right shoes. And then I do that thing, SHOES, that spells shoes. Sober, humble, optimistic, empathetic, sincere. SHOES. Sober, humble, optimistic, empathetic, sincere. And then I sign it, Michele M. Saumberfield. So that's it. That's how my book starts out. I like to do the, the foreword written by someone else theoretically. And now I want to read for you the parts of the book where I mention you. Okay, so bear with me because I start off talking about silliness, but it's only 2 pages here, and you're mentioned in the middle of it, okay? And so this is how my book starts off. I was born July 10th, 1964 in central Pennsylvania. My mother named me Michele Marie because she had seen that one L spelling for Michelle many years earlier and liked it. My great-aunt Babe had been a grade school teacher, and my mom had helped her correct some homework papers. That is where she saw what at the time was the more unusual spelling. Back in the 1950s, Michelle was usually spelled Michelle with 2 L's. My dad must have liked the name too. So I looked up these names. Michelle means who is like God. Marie means bitter. This name is somewhat interesting in that Marilyn has practically been raised to God, and yet her end was bitter. Karma? Because my name is Michele Marie, for real. And then Missy means honeybee. I'm not sure what to think of this. I like honey, but as a kid, I got stung by bees pretty badly a couple times. However, I do like this nickname. My mom said she wanted to call me Missy because of some very feminine character on a soap opera named that. June 2020. For about a year, I have been online friends with a man named Joseph LaMoille, who is writing his own memoir about the parallels of his current lifetime and his past life when he was a rebel cowboy during the 1800s. Joseph is quite a talented painter, yet he is modest and doesn't see how amazing his gifts are. When I first met him, he didn't even seem to realize how truly good his writing is either. He was apologizing for his work as he was handing over a sample for me to give him feedback. I was duly impressed, and thereafter our conversations have flowed. One day Joseph was talking about patterns in his life. I told Joseph that I don't see patterns in my life. I decided to look up the meaning of the name Norma Jean and was surprised by what I found. Norma means from the north or pattern. Jean means gift from God, like Michele does. Marilyn means bitter, like my middle name Marie does. Well, I'll be damned. I guess I do have a pattern in my life after all. Joseph said he was giving people in his own memoir code names, and he couldn't use my real first name anyway, because he had already promised that one to his wife. He is calling her Michele. They had decided on that together as he started writing his own book right before we met. He asked permission to mention my Marilyn beliefs. I told him to call me Missy. People can cross-reference us between each other's books. I'm happy to be part of his story this lifetime. Joseph and I have spent a lot of time talking about surviving our childhoods. Sorry, I get so tongue-tied because I really can't see. It's terrible. My vision is so bad right now. I'm not blind, but I just can't see small print. I wanted 14-point font when I had my first book, and I was basically told no because that'll make too many pages, and you got to put things in 12-point font or smaller. So I have my books in 12-point font, Garamond style, just so they're not too big, but I can't read it. Anyway. Okay, so in this part of the book, it's called Writing the Readings, and it's a bunch of question-answer things where I'm talking to my UK psychic friend. He's over in the UK, and I bought a whole bunch of different readings from him at different times, and so he and I were going on and on. He was answering different things about Marilyn and the Kennedys and just all kinds of different stuff, and I don't agree with a lot of what he says. Okay, so somewhere in the middle of this whole chapter, when I'm going back and forth with him and also talking to my friend Tina, your name comes up. Because I say to him, Michael, my friend Joseph told me that he thinks this is a big test. He said that Marilyn was never sure about who she really was, and now I have to go through this and stand up to people who question my identity when I tell them I was Marilyn. And Michael responds and says, Michael said he sees that I must continue and tell people what happened to Marilyn because I agreed to do that before I was born. He said that Marilyn is special and she needs me to do this to save her soul. Okay, I can tell one of my bookmarkers just fell out of here, so I'm going to have to go by now this piece of paper, this cheat sheet I have, because I want to read every part of what I plan to read for you. Okay, so here's the next one, 150. Let's see. So this is the chapter. Okay, so this is the chapter called Corona, a crown no one wants. And so this is talking about the initial stages of the coronavirus lockdown, where I'm living at home, pretty much shut in most of the time with my boyfriend and his college-age daughter who comes back from campus, and they're both big slobs, and the dynamics, of course, change, and there's all kinds of goofy stuff that I write about. But, and of course, my job changed. I had to start working from home, but somehow, in the midst of things, oh, you'll remember this conversation. I bring your name up again. I say, during this time, my good friend Joseph said he had the feeling something worse was coming soon. He told me he thought a war was about to... Oh, sorry, I can't read. Okay. During this time, my good friend Joseph said he had the feeling something worse was coming soon. He told me he thought a war was around the corner. By June, that was so. Within our very own country, there was a war in our own streets. But I won't go into that anymore. That is a bigger subject I'll let a better writer tackle. I will only say this. We all deserve respect, and violence solves nothing. But I do remember you were saying early on, when it was just the coronavirus lockdown, I remember, Joseph, you were saying to me that you had the feeling that there was some war or something that was coming around, that there was just something bigger around the corner. And you are so right, because people were killing each other in the streets. And now, to me, the violence is even scarier than anything, even worse than a potential disease. So let me see, what other page do I have? I apologize. It's just so hard for me to... 219. I know there was some other thing, and I will be so mad at myself if I can't find it. No. I know that there was some other part somewhere. Let's see, where was it? I apologize. I really can't find it. Well, I can't find it right now because my bookmarks fell out, but I know there was a part where I'm talking about the coronavirus lockdown and about how my boyfriend immediately said, oh, well, we could give each other coronavirus if we kiss or have sex or anything, so we can't do that. And I remember, and I wrote that in my book about how I contacted you and said, what do you think of that? Does that make sense? And you said, that doesn't make any sense, because if one of you has it, the other one already has it. You're living together. But I can't find the page, but that's basically essentially where you come in again, because I ask you what you think of that. All right. Okay. And so then the last part here is just the thank you. I have a number of friends in the thank yous at the end of my book. Of course, my boyfriend's always in there. His daughter's in there this time. I thank a few performers who worked with MARILYN during her lifetime. And I even thank President Trump and Vice President Pence for the job that they've done, because I did vote for them. But here's the part that I write for you. Thank you to my good friend, author Joseph LAMOILLE. You IM'd with me on a daily basis as we were both writing our own memoirs. Your support and friendship and interesting writing style has been motivating. I also appreciate your discernment, as we have often bounced all the various reincarnation theories off of one another, attempting to understand the truth about things that are otherworldly and hard to grasp or accept. We've shared many laughs as well as deep conversations about our own personal karma regarding lessons and people we've known. And it's been really fun having someone to talk with about writing sex scenes, especially since our styles are completely different. I know that your book has not been titled yet, but your cowboy's revenge story is fascinating when paralleled with the perils and relationships of your current lifetime. I hope everyone remembers the name Joseph LAMOILLE, because your tale will be a wild read. I love it that you remember being bonded to your horse Whiskey during your past lifetime. I hope you see him again too. Anyway, sorry. That was like really messy. I just can't read. I wish I could see. Anyway, I can't wait till you finish your book. I know right now you might be thinking that it will never happen, but hold on, do whatever you got to, keep moving forward. Don't give up your book. Even if you have to put it in storage for 3 years, don't give up your book. 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, whenever you finish your book, you will just have more to put in it because you are on a crazy adventure right now. You will just have more, probably more parallels. You and William, the man you remember being, the cowboy rebel you remember being, you will somehow make that book work. I know you will. I believe in you. So that's that. Write your own memoir. I always say to people, read mine, decide what you like and what you didn't, and then write yours better. So I can't wait to read yours. I know I'm going to someday.